Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. A little bit different video than I normally do. And that is because I am doing a video solely on this optic. Late last night, it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm getting stuff ready like I normally do for the next day. And I went to mount this scope on the Blue Light Slinger. And I thought to myself, I actually read the owner's manual. Owner's manual for an optic? Yes. This is one you definitely want to read, the owner's manual. And I was so impressed and jaw-dropped that I said, this thing deserves a video all on its own. Typically, when I get something new in, I slap the optic on it. I don't really talk a whole lot about it. It's glass and it's got zoomies and it helps us hit things. But this thing is so different than everything else and packed full of such cool things. I said we got to do a video on it, just on itself. So I'm going to take it out of the box and show you about it. Probably go a little bit through the owner's manual, the user manual, because they did a good job of telling me about it. So it's going to help me tell you about it. But this is the Burris Eliminator 6. Get you the picture of it on top. Burris Eliminator 6. Looks like a rifle scope. It definitely is, but it's not your normal rifle scope. There you have it right there. Eliminator 6. It's got Bluetooth. How cool is that? But this has got 4-20 zoomies. It's a 4-20 by 52. So, open the box. What do you got? Well, soft wipe rag, the scope itself, the paper user manual. I was actually reading the digital one. Or a sticker. Gotta have the sticker. And I opened this up but forgot what was in it. So this is a sunscreen, like comes with a lot of scopes. Screws into the front. And there's some zip ties on there. A battery. We got to have a battery for that scope. A remote for the scope. Somebody said a remote for your scope. Yep, we're going to get into that. Cap. And another battery. So, let's get into it. I'm going to leave those caps off for now. And take the actual scope out of the box. It says it has Burris's forever warranty. No questions asked. No charge, no warranty card needed, no receipt needed, no questions asked. Warranty from Burris on this. So, pretty cool. Well, let me get that off and let me give you just a quick look-see at it. On the surface, at least on this side, it looks like your average rifle scope, right? Adjustment back here. Your zooming knob is right here. That moves good. It's got capped turrets on the top and the side. But you flip it over this side. It's got buttons. Big button there. And these are the brightness buttons for most of it. And then this is the rangefinder and kind of also the on button. But lots to talk about this Burris Eliminator 6. Let's get into it. All right, I'm going to give you more detail on this thing, but let me give you the quick version. Battery, that fat battery goes in behind here. You press this button, this scope is going to have a heads-up display, and I'll pop up a picture right here off of Burris's website because I think it helps explain, gives you a visual. But it's going to give you a heads-up display. It's going to tell you the yardage to the target, whether that's a deer or an elk or a piece of steel. And then in the reticle, it's also going to tell you the speed of your bullet at the target, how much energy your bullet has at the target. So if you tell yourself, I only want to squeeze a trigger on that deer if my bullet's got at least 1,200 foot-pounds of energy, it's going to tell you in the optic. If you have a threshold for your energy, it's going to put an X in the screen and tell you, no, You told me that you didn't want to take one that far with that low energy, so don't squeeze the trigger. But really, the core of it is inside the reticle, you press that button, it's going to automatically take into account the projectile, the round that you told it you were using. Take that information, look at the temperature, look at the elevation, and in the reticle, it's going to automatically show you all that information just like that, and it's going to move inside the reticle and tell you your hold point. You guys that watch the show know we've done a bunch of long range stuff with a bunch of different cartridges, and say 600 yards, we're dialing, and we've done the math either on paper or with the computer, and it gives us an estimate of either where to hold in the reticle or where to dial your scope. Well, this scope does all of that for you. In your phone, if I knew where my phone was sitting, but there it is. In your phone, you tell the scope in the Burris Connect app what projectile you're using, and it takes all that into account and says, oh, that deer's at 400 yards. Here's the dot, hold there. I'll put up an image here again. But that's the short version, but let me show you, just run through the user manual real quick. This is one that I'm putting on my 30-06 and I'm taking to Africa, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm going to bring you guys with me, and we're going to film all of it. But I got to know every little bit about it so I can fully maximize its potential while I'm in Africa. And I got to get this thing sighted in today. We're going to do that in another video. But let me just run you through the user manual real quick. This is awesome. All the technology they have packed into this in something that on the surface appears to be just another rifle scope, but this is not just another rifle scope. Let's check out the user manual and just run through it real quick. So, like I said real quick, I'm going to run you through the actual user manual just to show you all the capabilities and how it works. Now, in the box, it did come with a quick start guide, which is cool and awesome, but I'm going to run you real quick through the user manual here because I think it does a real good job of covering everything that this scope can do. So, check this out. Introduction. Eliminator 6 is a revolutionary hunting rifle scope that combines optics, laser range finding, and precision trajectory compensation. That's where I was telling you. It tells you where to hold based on gathering all the information and then showing you where to hold. It says the Eliminator 6 offers superior quality, technology, speed, and effectiveness, making it ultimate choice for hunters around the world. And then there's that graphic there that shows you. Can zoom in there. That's what I was saying. You sight it in, and then you boop, press the button. It ranges, takes into consideration everything, and that's where you need to hold, buddy. So let's keep going. Built-in rangefinder, precise rangefinder out to 2,000 yards for reflective targets. Heads-up display, that's what I was saying, right there above your image at the top. Bluetooth pairs with the Burris Connect app to upload custom ballistic profiles. It has a library in there. I've already uploaded the Remington stuff. I'm going to try on this first, but you can also put in your hand loads, you know, your speeds and everything, and it can use those. Multi-coated HD glass, great clarity, X117 reticle. You guys can freeze this at any point. I'm not going to sit here and read to you for an hour, but I want to touch on the key things. It has parallax adjustment on the side as well. Environmental sensors. The Eliminator 6 has a suite of onboard sensors, including a thermometer and a barometer, automatically selecting the appropriate ballistic database for your density altitude. How cool is that? That's a big piece of it, how it can calculate accurately. Onboard thermometer and barometer. Tells you how to install the battery. That's pretty self-explanatory. It suggests that you use some Burris rings. It is a 34mm tube. I do have some Burris rings to put this on. Basic scope function. Range button, up and down button. Power ring. That's your typical zoomy ring. It also says several times in here that you initially sight it in just like a normal rifle scope with the windage and elevation turrets. Elevation turret, real quick. 1 click equals 1/8 MOA. The lines on the elevation dial are calibrated to equal 1/8 MOA. There's a total of 40 MOA elevation adjustment, and it's the same with the windage. 40 MOA windage and elevation adjustment. Setting the 0. If you have one of these, this will help you out, but you could also read your user manual. How to set the turret to 0 right there. Heads up display. So this is where it gets really cool and interesting. Default zone setting. So you can see there the yardage, the speed at the target, the energy at the target, the temperature, the windage. In the middle on the bottom, Z3, that's the level. Are you canted one way or the other? That, when you're doing longer range stuff, that really comes into play if you're canted. Could be the difference of you taking that deer home or not. But it really has a ton in there. That's super cool. Shot call marker, Z10. I'll talk about that for a second. That's what I was saying. See that X there? If you tell it, I'm not going to take this animal unless the projectile has XYZ energy, it'll tell you, hey, it doesn't have enough energy that you told me. And that's what that X means there. Super, super cool. The remote switch, which is right here, that is essentially the same as the range button on the side. So if you want to keep this and stick it to the side of your rifle, something where your hand might be in a better position so you don't have to take your hand off and push the range button, you can press that remote button. Programming it, this is kind of a key part here. Eliminator 6 rifle scope communicates with the Burris Connect app, where the user can create a personalized ballistic profile for their rifle scope. Eliminator 6 can access factory cartridges or even custom-built loads to ensure the most accurate profiles are created. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And again, we're going to be testing this out a bunch. There's kind of a graphic that they've got there. Use the crosshairs to aim at the target. So I'll zoom in on this. Use the crosshairs to aim at the target, then press the range button on the scope or remote. See how the reticle's black? Then, step 2, aim at the target with the provided red dot. You can see how there's that dot in there. Then, take your shot. Pretty cool stuff. This is super cool stuff, guys. The wind value is the hold value for a 10 mile per hour, 90-degree wind. Good to know. Scope level, you can have it look a couple different ways. Temperature, impact energy, and velocity. That's pretty cool. Shot call marker, that's what I was talking about. You tell it if it has enough energy or not. Pretty cool. And then it has a couple error things if it's not reading or whatnot. And there's the specs. Says it can range 2,000 targets at 2,000 yards on a high reflective target, 1,800 yards on a deer. That's cool. And it says that, like I said a second ago, forever warranty, no questions asked. So, super awesome. Let me put the battery in this real quick. Alright, so I just put the battery in, took this outside. Holy mackerel. Clear glass, and that ranging thing works great. But now, I'm going to connect it to my phone here. So, I might as well go back to the home screen. Burris Connect app. I'm on the optics on the bottom. Add device. Eliminator 6. And I'm going to press the button on the side and hit start scan. Allow. Scan result. It found an optic. Connection succeeded. Navigate back to the Devices tab to use the device. Okay, there you go. So, pretty sweet. And then I'm going to go to Ballistics. And you can see there, I'm going to put this on a Savage Impulse. I've already got all this keyed in. Africa tab. I'm going to click that. And then you can see I've already got the bullet in there that I'm going to sight it in with. And assuming it groups good, that's what we're going to hunt with in Africa. The Remington Premier Long Range 172 grain in 30-06. But you can see all the information in here. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. See what the dope card says. Yeah. So, sighted in at 100 is the next thing we got to do. And that's cool that it also has all this stuff in there. So, it even has drop in inches. Pretty cool. So, say a zebra pops up at 200 yards. The drop in inches off this chart is 3.4, but it'll also have that. We'll range at 200, and that dot will drop down to account for that 3-inch drop. But yeah, all the way out, you can see here how that works. Something like 600, 81 inches. We're not going to sit there and hold 81 inches over. We're for sure using that dot in the reticle. And this thing takes into account all of that stuff. Using that bullet, the BC, and all that stuff. So that is pretty slick. And you don't have to have cell service. You got to have cell service or Wi-Fi to download the app, but you don't have to have it for this to work. The Bluetooth works without your cell service. And also, you know, oh, what if the battery dies? Well, prepare and make sure your battery's got the juice, but in the event that the battery dies, you can still use it as a rifle scope. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. Incredible technology that they're coming out with these days. And like I said, I'm about to mount this on this Savage Axis. I'm about to mount this on the Savage Impulse and take it to the range and get it sighted in. So a lot more coming on this thing. But this thing is so awesome and packed full of so many features that I thought it deserved its own quick video just to kind of go over it with you and walk you through everything that it can do quick. But stay tuned. We're putting this to the test, not only at our range, also in Africa, and we're going to do some extended long range stuff with it too and really put it to the test. But I don't know about you, this is pretty cool. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Hooty hoo.